Hey everybody, and welcome to another action-packed edition of the OverMark Podcast. We're your hosts, TJ and Dave. Today we're going to talk about AEW Fyter Fest from June 6th, 2025. Like always, follow us on all our social medias at OverMark ENT. We're going to jump right into it, like we always do. So, we had Fyter Fest, and they had it was like combined Collision and Dynamite event, but they kind of had it branded, I feel like, under one name, right?
Yeah.
They had an attendance of 2,500. They had a sellout crowd at the Mission Ballroom in Denver, Colorado. That place did look pretty cool. I liked the look. It was different, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did. It looked cool, and the crowd sounded good in there.
Yeah, they definitely did. But anyways, so they recapped the tension with Swerve and Strickland with this Will Ospreay promo. You know, obviously he came out before that and all that. He gets a pretty good reaction from the crowd. The crowd wasn't bad tonight. But Ospreay said that he never wanted to get into a fight with Swerve. The enemy's Jon Moxley suggests that they team up for one night to beat Moxley, then go back to their feud. Ospreay says that AEW only sucks because Mox is world champion right now. Did you see his face afterwards?
No.
So, like, it looks like he, like, instantly regretted saying it. He, like, grabbed his face and was like, oh fuck. Like, when Booker T said, like, we coming for you. He did the exact same thing.
He was like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. But anyways, he questioned Swerve's motives. He says that he wants to stop Paige from winning. Maybe I need to stop Swerve. He's saying, you know, maybe Swerve's the bad guy that's going to fuck it up. Challenges Strickland to Swerve Ospreay 2 at a Summer Blockbuster. What's that, next week, or when the fuck's that?
I don't even know.
But crew interrupts. Andretti mocks Tony Schiavone. Crowd chants, shut the fuck up. Leo Rush. If there's one thing I know about Brits, it's that they all like to talk. Rush claims Ospreay is AEW's biggest problem. So, yeah. I don't know, kind of weird, you know, having Leo Rush and actually Andretti come out, and they're setting up the match for later. Right? I mean, they actually did do that right then, right? It doesn't say that in the notes, but...
yeah, I do believe so, yeah. Yeah, the notes, we got an abridged version of the notes this week. We're trying something different. We just, this is the short notes that it gave us, so we're trying those out to see how it works this week.
Well, it's all good either way.
Who knows?
But
yeah.
Anyways...
Just letting everybody know that's listening why, you know, there might be some parts of this where we have
Crew's entrance music. I actually like it. Like, it's pretty cool. It's a little like hype music, and it's got like a good beat to it. But then like two like giant turds come out. It's, you know, it's kind of like a wet fart. Like everybody's like, oh fuck, it's these guys.
Who's gonna care?
Yeah, but so they jump into a Mark Briscoe vignette after that. Or I didn't ask you what you thought about that. What'd you think? Right, just typical Ospreay promo. It was good.
Yeah, he got a good promo. I've finally gotten over his accent. If he would just say bruv a little less, then he'd be good to go. I mean, you could say it can be your thing, but you don't have to. You know, he says it more than Hulk Hogan says brother.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it wasn't bad. I liked it.
No, good it was a good start. Probably one of the highlights of the show.
And Swerve's good. Swerve's always good.
Oh yeah.
The kind of thing that you want to have to start off your show, and it's funny because everybody always wants to compare both the shows with WWE and AEW, and they shit on AEW or WWE for having openings like this. But I think it's good for both shows. You know, you want to have your guys out there and set up the match for later.
Yep.
Anyways,
always have your top dudes open the show.
Yeah. But anyways, go on ahead.
Yep. So we got a Mark Briscoe vignette. He's backstage, and he's talking about how he lost to Jon Moxley, and his son came home and asked him if he gave up, and he had to explain to his son that no, I didn't give up. You know, me passing out wasn't quitting, and he wants to fight Jon Moxley tonight, not for the title, but to get his respect back. Guess he's upset because his son thought he quit. I don't know. Good enough promo that, that goes back to what TJ was just saying a second ago about using the beginning of the show to set up things that are going to be coming later in the show so that you're invested. You're like, oh, okay, they talked about this earlier. That's going to be happening later. I might want to see that. Cool. Yeah. What did you think of his promo? I know it wasn't anything crazy, but still decent.
Mark Briscoe's good. It's kind of the same shit that we just talked about with Ospreay when he usually has his typical stuff. Well, so does Briscoe, but I like him a lot. He's one of the better talkers on the show, and he's got a different promo than anybody in the business. And how you were talking about they were setting something up, but what they set up was what comes next, right?
Yep.
It was
which is the grudge match.
Yeah, with old Moxley and Briscoe. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was all right. I mean, another 2-week build. I guess they this is kind of like, you could say it was longer than that since they both were involved in similar stuff lately. But I don't know. And actually, when I think about it, they haven't been, because Briscoe did the stretcher match at the pay-per-view, and then Moxley was in Anarchy in the Arena. So they really weren't actually involved, right?
When did he choke him out then?
He choked him out last week, I think, or maybe the week before. But you remember at Double or Nothing, it was Briscoe versus Ricochet at the stretcher match.
Yep.
So either way, they haven't been involved that long. And what I was going to say, though, is like this kind of highlights the whole show is we got a big event. We got 4 hours. We got to fill it with matches. Right?
Yeah.
They don't necessarily.
They did that.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have to have the biggest build. They don't got to be the best matches, but we will provide content. So it was an alright match, I guess. Briscoe dominates early with strikes and baseball slide. Outside brawl leads to interference from Muta and Shafir. Briscoe hits a J driller, near fall. Moxley counters, with a froggy bow and a rear naked choke. Transitions to an armbar, then a bulldog choke, and then he passes out again. So Moxley won by referee stoppage, submission, passed out. And he was pretty bloody here again too. So
yep.
I don't know. Like I said, it was decent. Just what you would expect from these guys. Moxley isn't really capable of having a good match. So I mean, take that for what it is and make your own conclusion.
He used to be.
I really wasn't crazy about his shit in the WWE, to tell you the truth. But
no, I mean when he first got to AEW, like 2019, 2020, Moxley, he was good.
I guess.
I mean, not great, but he's better than now.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Now he's just a character of himself.
Yeah. I think he, maybe because he stopped drinking. I don't know.
I don't really know
they
either.
Say that artists, when they sober up, sometimes aren't as good anymore or something, like musical artists or, like art artists.
Yeah, and
I don't know how true that is or isn't.
It kind of stinks because there was a time where like they had the option to use Mark Briscoe and make another top main event talent, and right when they brought him over after the tragedy of his brother, and they just didn't jump on that, and it's a shame because Mark Briscoe could have already been a AEW champion and be solidified as one of their top guys, and he has all the ability and credentials and every aspect that you would want in a star and somebody that stands apart from the rest of your roster, and just another fumble in my eyes. But what'd you think, or did I already ask you that?
I don't remember now, but it was an okay match. I'll talk about it for a second anyway. Standard Moxley match. It was mostly carried by Briscoe. Always nice to see Briscoe out there. Hopefully he's getting a good paycheck. And we'll move on from there. We got a tag match of Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa versus Julia Hart and Sky Blue. They got all of the women that are over in the company in one match. So that's not too stupid. They got Mercedes Moné on commentary. So Storm and Mina dominate early. Crowd gets behind Mina. Mina hit with the tarantula by Hart. Storm sent into the barricade. Comeback ends with tandem suplexes and double hip attacks. Storm taps out Hart with the TCM chicken wing. Toni Storm and Mina win, and then they're celebrating, and Mercedes had a steak and wine and stuff. She had her own little table set up next to the commentary table, and she was just looked like texting away on her phone for most of the match. I assume what the people that are paying her $100 a month to text with her. But Toni Storm goes over there and starts eating her steak, just, picks it right on up with her hands and takes a big old bite out of it, starts drinking her wine, and Mercedes is all pissed off. I don't know. It was a decent match. These not great, but, good enough. Nothing pissed me off here. What did you think of this?
I mean, not much to really say. Just, it was a decent match for what it was. I liked it. They're just trying to further these two being involved with each other without actually wrestling each other that much or getting physical until their event. I don't know. The whole time I'm just thinking that it sucks because they're going to have Toni lose to Sasha or whatever the fuck her name is. But
it'd be cool if they swerved us, which very rarely happens these days.
Because Toni's been carrying the women's division for years. She deserves it. But either way, it's this was a decent match, and we can go ahead and move on from that. I know you don't have much to say about it. That steak looked terrible.
Yeah, I was definitely had been out for a while.
Oh, this is pretty good here next. Ospreay interrupted by MJF. MJF taunts him, "You can't beat Hangman. You can't get them to work together." Talking about him and Swerve. Ospreay fires back. "You don't want Paige to win because you can't beat him either." MJF says, "How's your son doing?" And, he grabs him, gets all pissed. Then Hurt Syndicate interrupts the whole thing before Ospreay can retaliate. And MVP's like, "We have important business to attend to." Excuse me, guys. It's funny. I'm really enjoying the whole Hurt Syndicate with MJF. And they go, "You got something to say?"
It's one of the best things on the show most weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, MJF usually knocks everything out of the park, and all the Hurt Syndicate guys are entertaining. So
very polished,
and they're full on heels now, which is awesome.
Yep.
But you hear my dogs. But in-ring promo, Hurt Syndicate, Lashley, MVP, MJF, Shelton Benjamin. MVP introduces each member. Lashley boos. Denver, they ask him, and he teases the thumbs up, thumbs down, and he does the thumbs down. MJF says he'll go to Mexico to face Mystico. He's a small fish in a smelly pond. "I sold out Mexico as the youngest foreigner. I'm a megastar. If I feel like it, I'll let Mystico wrestle me." Commander Bailey and Knight confront him. MVP denies the match, says, "You want a shot? Earn it." And Commander, or I think Bailey, I forget exactly what he said, but he said some shit like they're unstoppable or some shit, and all the Hurt Syndicate were laughing in the ring and shit, because they look like kids compared to him. But man, they really show Bailey on every fucking show.
I don't know why we keep seeing him, but I mean, I guess somebody likes him or thinks highly of him somewhere.
I mean,
because he keeps being there.
One show's fine, but two, and then I don't know, just in almost every main event. Or I don't know if that's true, but I feel like they definitely got him in a lot of prominent positions. But what'd you think about that? That was good stuff, right?
Oh yeah, like I had said before, we talked about it. Usually the best stuff on the show is going to be Hurt Syndicate and MJF, and they proved us to not be liars with this segment. And I just want to see them in a feud with somebody good. Would be my only critique of their run so far.
They keep asking, this is supposed to be the best tag division in the world. Where are they? Where's the tag division?
And we're asking the same thing.
Yeah, we have been the whole time. Hopefully somebody pops up soon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after that, we got this trios match.
One thing, Dave.
Oh, yeah?
Right now, where's Private Party? Where's the Acclaimed? Well, we know where they are. But Private Party were the champions that the Hurt Syndicate beat. And, they just completely disappeared. Maybe one of the guys are hurt. I don't know. But And then I can't. It's like it's fucked. They have no division, and you beat up you split up the most over tag team that you had in your company.
Yeah, it made zero sense. I don't know why they broke up the Acclaimed.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
Go ahead though.
Anyway, we got the trios match with LFI versus Commander Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, and oh boy, I'm pretty sure this was a fast forward match for me. But match breaks down early. LFI dominates mid match. We get a dive sequence for the crowd. And Knight hits the UFO splash on Mortos for the win. And the Hurt Syndicate interrupts and announces a 6-man tag for next week at the Summer Blockbuster. So every week, are they going to just have a different... Oh, well, yeah, that's right. There was a reason that there was 2 weeks in a row of this. You told me earlier, but I can't remember now. But anyway, I don't really have a lot to say about this match. I was kind of one of those ones that I didn't actually fast forward through it, but I wasn't paying a super lot of attention. It just was what it was. What I saw of it was kind of like, oh, cool. There's some dives and some ooh and ah, but I wasn't crazy about it. It was all right. What did you think of it?
I don't know, fucking Commander. Kevin Knight seems all right, but they got him fucking having matches with these fucking goofs. So, what the fuck's that? But I don't know. I'm sure this was a great match. I did watch it, but if it sank in, it definitely did not. It just I keep saying it, but the commentary on this show just fucking sucks, man. Like it. I'm sure all three guys that do commentary are fucking great, nice people. But they're not enhancing the talent. It's another layer that could draw you into these matches if it was done correctly. And I don't think there's ever a time on Dynamite, maybe Collision here and there, where they've actually enhanced the fucking match beyond just yelling out fucking moves. Is that correct?
You don't like Excalibur?
Not at all. I know you don't
I'm
either.
Just kidding. No, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Dork ass motherfucker. Out there being a mark for yourself and your mask. You're not the focus of the show. Take your fucking mask off. But anyway.
Oh, man. So we're at the Paragon and Garcia accepting the match versus the Callis family tonight.
Oh boy.
Is that where we're at?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I
okay.
didn't oh boy you. I was oh boying the amalgamation of people that nobody wants to see.
Max Caster, best wrestler alive, open challenge. Max Caster versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs dominates him. Caster did his little promo. I'm the best wrestler alive. Tried to get the ref to sign his little paper and all that, saying that he was the best wrestler. I think he did get him too. But I like Max Caster, and this just goes to show you, it's just, what do they have Max Caster doing this? What do they have Bones doing? Not a lot. Why'd you break these guys up? And I guess at least they have Powerhouse Hobbs doing something, but they could have him doing a whole lot more.
Yep.
I know you don't have anything to add.
No, I didn't think very much of this match other than, every time we see Max Caster, we keep saying, why'd they break up the Acclaimed, and we don't like what he's doing. He's doing the best that he can with it. It's not a knock on him or what he's doing. It's just, you can only
Is it
work
like the
in
God in that
the
song? He's doing the best he ever did. He's doing the best that he can.
Well, if he keeps doing what he's doing, then when I see him, I'll want to say, now go away.
Oh, man. That's funny.
God damn it. But so after that, there was a match again, which is the theme this evening.
Is it me or you?
What's that?
This next one here.
Oh, why don't you take it since that last one was a pretty short one?
All right, so it's the International Championship 4-way with Kenny Omega versus Claudio versus Brody King versus Mascara Dorada. And it's like...
Who?
I don't know. Mascara Dorito? I'm not sure. That seems like an odd combination of names.
His name makes me hungry.
Yeah.
for like a spread of Mexican food on a plate with like tacos and enchiladas, and there's like some white cheese dip and some salsa and shit.
Kenny's cool. And Claudio's, I've always been a fan of his. He's kind of a mute in AEW unless they have a reason for him to talk. And compared to some of the people they have there, he can actually talk, which is was never his strong suit. But if you give him something that he can work with, he's not bad. Brody King's just some guy in the company floating around right now. And then we got Dorito. So
he had an okay. Brody wasn't terrible in this match.
Dorito shines with dives and aerial offense. Brody brutalizes everyone with power. Omega survives a neutralizer and King's spear. Dorito nearly steals it with Hurricane Ranas and Ranas. Omega hits
What the fuck?
the one-winged angel on Dorito for the win. Finish, Omega pins Dorito. And he's still the champion, the international champion. And he's going to keep going and defending his championship until he goes against Okada, which they'll bring up later in the show. Didn't he come out after this, by the way? And they had a little tussle, him and Okada?
Maybe.
I believe they did. They were both wearing similar colored clothing. But not really too much to add to that. It was an alright match. Not too bad. They're just keeping people busy, and it was just something to put on the show.
Brody was busted open pretty bad during the match at some point, and I don't know. We usually shit on him, but he did the best he could. This match is probably one of the better Brody King matches that I've seen him.
I'm not denying his talent or him as a person or anything like that. It's just when the company uses a big scary motherfucker like he's a goof and has him losing to people that are 5'6", what do you expect me to do? Be hyped up about what they're doing or be realistic about what's happening? Right?
Right. Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. But okay, so.
But no, it was a pretty solid match. It was nice to see Kenny and Claudio get it on a bit there.
So we had Ricochet to start off the next hour, and he was saying that he was putting everybody over and saying they had a lot of good wrestling that's going to happen tonight and a lot of talented people, and you were going to see him throughout the show, and he was going to be scouting talent. So you were going to see him here and there throughout the show scouting talent. And then he said, wrestling in this town? Like I don't wrestle like in this town or something like that, just shitting on the town. But it was a good promo. I enjoy most of the stuff Ricochet does these days, and I know you do too. Yeah,
he's doing good heel work. Probably some of the best work of his career.
Yeah, good start to the
yeah.
To the
Outside of his NXT Gold run, they when it was the early on NXT, he was really, really good there.
I never really saw that.
He remember how well you might remember that he was very hyped, and then when you saw him on the main roster, it was kind of like eh. And the reason that he was so hyped is because how good his run in NXT was.
Well, yeah, I do know that everybody was rolling to that NJPW stuff he did too. Those matches that he had with Buttertooth Will Ospreay and over there as well. Bruv.
That's true.
They call me Buttertooth. We'll
so then we
move on from that.
We did have a match with Will Ospreay versus Lio Rush. And man, I really hope that the stuff that we read that said that Ricochet's dudes were going to be crew, because fuck, man, I don't want to fucking see Andretti and Lio Rush more. Hopefully with Truth and Carlito being released, he brings them in as they'd be better as his guys than fucking those guys. But anyway, we get a fast-paced, intense match. Action Andretti makes a distraction, allowing for Lio Rush to hit a frog splash, and then he gets caught with a Styles Clash, and Ospreay wins. Crew beats down Will after the match, and Hangman makes the save, and he says, if Will's got my back, I've got his, but I don't need help, especially not from Swerve Strickland. This is actually a decent match, as much as I say that I don't like Lio Rush. He is a good wrestler. He's the size of a fucking teenager, makes Adam Cole look like a fucking action figure or superhero action figure. But other than that, good enough match. What did you think of this?
And it's kind of weird, they have this thing with like Will Ospreay, one of the biggest guys on their show, and they started Dynamite off with the first hour, and they start off the first match on the third hour is this. Like, it was a good enough match, but I don't think Lio Rush versus Will Ospreay is really anything that you would be too hyped about on your show. And it was another match just, thrown together. Like, I saw people saying this is pay-per-view worthy, and it's like, oh, this is one of your pay-per-view worthy matches. Just, I don't know, kind of just, it was what it was.
I mean, if you're gonna pay me to view it, yeah.
Yeah, but it was what it was. After that, the Don Callis family introduces Het Shero. They do a little promo. It was good. I enjoy most of the shit that Don Callis does. Can't remember much of what the fuck he talked about here, but we'll move on. You see Don Callis throughout this show, and he's always a pretty good promo.
He's like the Karrion Kross of AEW. You're always getting promos of him backstage and him doing shit.
And he had a scar markered in, like he always does on this show. But we'll move on here. We got FTR versus Atlantis Jr. and Templaro. Oh, man. Respectful grappling turns into hard-hitting chaos. Atlantis and Templaro impressed with aerials and teamwork. FTR cheats slightly to pull off the win. So Cash ended up pinning Templaro. So the winners were FTR. And Stokely Hathaway says no matter where you're from, you fall to FTR. It was a good match for what it was, but it's hard to get excited about guys that are as talented as FTR working with Atlantis Jr. and Templario. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
I mean, what?
Sorry, I got distracted.
You're good. I mean, they did the thing last week where they actually had a good little in-ring segment. I like that, but it's not too much really to talk about there.
No, not really.
Talk about something else here that happened after that.
I lost my place.
So it's the Don Callis family versus Bandito and the Outrunners.
There we go. Sorry, somebody had came in.
It's all good.
Even though the recording sign is up. Anyway, we got the Don Callis family versus Bandito and the Outrunners, and
Het Shero.
I can't. I was about to call him like Hyman Co. or something, even though there's no M in there.
Het Shero.
Het Shero dominates Bandito early. Man, that sounds like some kind of weird pay-per-view movie that you'd watch at a hotel.
It's not good.
The Outrunners get brief hope spots. Takashita hits a Blue Thunder Bomb, and then Fletcher finishes Turbo. Wow, these notes are something.
Yeah.
Fletcher pins Turbo Floyd, the winners of the Don Callis family.
This is a good match.
The match, yeah, it was a pretty good match actually. The lot of cool action and stuff. This was one of the better matches of the night. I didn't hate it. And, like TJ was saying a minute ago, like the Don Callis family, pretty much everything that they do is well received.
Yeah.
What did you think of this match?
Kyle Fletcher's fucking huge, man.
The amount of work that he's done on his physique since he got there is insane. That you can tell that he's putting in effort.
Yeah, Takeshita's always good. He's great in the match. I remember the first time I saw Het Shero was that match against MJF. I think at least it was. Either way, I don't really need to see him or Bandito. The Outrunners are cool though.
Yeah.
But that's other guys that they could have done more with. But I guess a little late at this point. But yeah, Tay Mello returns to save Anna Jay from Ford and Bane. I feel like there was probably more to that than there was there.
Yeah, they. Anna Jay was out there getting beat down by Penelope Ford and fucking Megan Bane, and she came out and made the save. And man, that was a rough segment.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tay Mello. It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, I think probably about 2 years.
Yeah, she had that kid with Sammy. Now she's back.
Yep.
I can't believe it. Oh, shit. you weren't that. This was just a long night of fucking wrestling.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the show was not great. I was not very enthusiastic about it. The RH World TV title 4-way. Nick Wayne versus Sammy Guevara versus AR Fox versus Lee Johnson.
It's honestly been a more fun episode, just being able to shit on everything and not really.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So it's
Fuck
like,
these guys.
yeah, it's nonstop action. Every man gets offense and close falls. Wayne drops Fox with the modified Death Valley driver for the win. I feel like at some
nice
other
move.
point earlier in the show, Christian was like, yeah, you're going to defend it against 4 guys. And I don't know. I don't need to really watch anything on an AEW show that involves their ROH championship. And Nick Wayne's all right enough, but, just...
How many guys was he going to defend it against?
4 big guys, including himself.
Oh, shit.
That was the match. But, I mean, the match was good enough, but AR Fox is just some guy. Lee Johnson is just some guy. Sammy Guevara is cool. It's a shame you don't see him more, but I guess at least you're seeing him some on the show now. But
yeah, we're starting to see more of him. I think that he's back in the good graces. He's kept his nose clean long enough that I think we're going to start seeing more of him.
What do you think of this match here? It happened, right?
It happened. It wasn't terrible. Begrudgingly, I will say that Nick Wayne, did pretty good this match. All the guys did their part.
Yeah.
And... yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Man, long fucking show.
Yeah,
and then we got the really fun match coming up next. The Toxic Spider, Thekla versus Lady Frost. The match that nobody asked for. Thekla dominates with aggressive offense and wins with a spear death trap submission. Post-match, the Queen Hamanata challenges Thekla for the Summer Blockbuster, saying, "In Africa, we stomp on spiders." I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to ever be a fan of either of these ladies. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I've seen Lady Frost a bunch. She can wrestle. I don't know. This match was all right. They definitely have better women's matches than what this usually.
Well, this is a squash match. I feel like it lasted 2 minutes, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And Queen Amanada, at least I guess they have her talking. She's been on ROH more. I saw her in person at the last ROH show I was against. She beat Harley Cameron in ROH match that they did before the collision started. But
she did not feel the wrath.
No. Well, this is before they really started pushing her, like right before Harley. That is. But I mean, this match was just okay. Like I said, it was a squash match, and I'm willing to give Thekla a chance. Lady Frost doesn't look too frosty anymore. She's got all black on. And Queen Amanata is weird what she was wearing. She was looks like she got caught in a glitter bomb. But yeah, this main event here with Josh Alexander and Lance Archer and Trent and Romero versus Daniel Garcia and Paragon. Fucking Daniel Garcia, man. Yeah, fuck this guy. Trent, they had him beat up. I guess his buddy Chucky T got hurt and may never wrestle again, so they had him act like he's the one that retired him, and he turned on Orange Cassidy too. And the big payoff to that was him joining the Don Callis family and getting hurt himself and then coming back, and it didn't matter if he got hurt or not. He has no momentum and never fucking will. Romero fucking stinks and is the size of a hobbit. Lance Archer's cool, but they never use him right. Josh Alexander's some guy. He became just one of the boys and one of the right off the bat, and it just seems like he's fucking lost right off the bat and not gonna have anything go on with him. But just a brawling match with big suplexes and chaos. Archer dominated until Cole isolated Trent. Cole hits Boom, Big Boom, whatever the fuck it is, his knee for the win. Cole ended up pinning Romero with it after the knee. So it was like Garcia and Paragon won, and the Don Callis family brawl post-match to end the show. And just, wow. What a 4 hours, huh?
It felt like more than 4 hours. Considerably more than 4 hours.
You know, they say WWE is just a content company now. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that that's a fair statement for the most part. I think you would too. But it's starting to feel like AEW is that way too. Tony was saying some shit, posting this on Twitter, like, oh, I'm giving you this pay-per-view quality card and making it 4 hours for the fans. And it's like, well, technically you're not doing anything that's too out of the ordinary here. It's still the same amount of hours that you would have in the week, just stacked one right after the other, right? Because Collision is going to be Saturday.
He'd have been filming this much wrestling anyway.
Yeah, and like Collision is going to be Saturday. It just so happened to happen last night. And I like the concept, and it would be cool. Like, could you imagine if they had like one really badass story going on and effectively built it throughout those 4 hours? That's the only, like the in-ring's there. It's just, you know, there's something, and it doesn't even have to be big, long promos. Just small little things throughout the show that link it together like a fucking TV show, because that's what it is, you know? You can say it has the sports-like presentation, which it doesn't, but if that's what we're fucking going for, what sports show do you watch these days that doesn't have built-in promos and packages highlighting the real-life aspects, grudges, or interesting storylines based on what you're watching? Every single sport does, right?
Yep.
You know what? Remember when Cornette, this is probably like in like 2005. They figured out how to do pro wrestling better in MMA than we're doing it now. Like, you remember when he said that?
Yeah.
And it was true to some extent. And like, you know, they've rebounded and everything. And that's when they were in like a bad state on the show. But it's just, it's simple. And it doesn't have to be long promos. And, you know, it just, I don't know. Sorry to keep ranting. You know what the fuck I'm saying. We'll move on from this. The show stunk. Give me your sign off on the show and then we'll move on.
There was a few bright spots, but overall, it just, I don't like the long shows. They're just not for me. You know, just like we were bitching about SmackDown staying 3 hours the other day. I just 2 hours, 2.5 hours. That's the sweet spot, and then get us the fuck out.
Well, it's fucking Wednesday. Who the fuck wants to stay up watching wrestling till midnight on Wednesday?
I mean, there's a reason that Monday Night Football doesn't go as late anymore.
That's true. And we'll go ahead and stop staying late on this segment, and we'll move on. And why don't you lead us into some wrestling news that we have to talk about this evening?
Yep. So while we were filming the previous episode on Tuesday, literally while we were wrapping up, Mariah May pops up on my TV, debuting in NXT. And so that's pretty cool. So former AEW Women's Champion Mariah May has officially debuted in the WWE. She appeared on a kind of elevated spot in the crowd on the June 3rd episode of NXT. She declared, "I'm going to be the next NXT Women's Champion." And WWE referred to her as Glamorous, a nod to her nickname, The Glamour, but they did not use her name on air. So there's no confirmation yet as to whether WWE plans to rename her, but that's what they did with Ricky Starks when they renamed him Ricky Saints. They didn't say his name. But Fightful reports there are no issues using the name Mariah May, as her real name is Mariah May Mead. So they can use her name. Whether or not they're going to remains to be seen. We got a little bit of details on her exit from AEW. She was removed from the AEW roster just days prior to her debut. We had just covered that. I think on Sunday's episode was the same day she might have been removed, or might have been the day before. We talked about that on an episode recently, is what I'm saying. The AEW sources told Fightful that May did not leave with any heat, so she left on good terms with the promotion. AEW was definitely interested in offering her a new deal, and most people in AEW knew that she was WWE bound and had made the personal life adjustments ahead of time. So the contract and the timing, Fightful confirmed that May signed a multi-year WWE contract. As to how many years that is, they didn't say because they didn't find out, I guess. I don't know. Her AEW deal had expired right at the beginning of June. So literally on the 1st. WWE moved fast. Her debut was kept tightly under wraps. Even the other women in the segment were only told minutes before going on air. Only a select inner circle knew of her status ahead of NXT. This is one of those instances that they swerved everybody. I mean, everybody knew that she was going to end up in WWE, but nobody knew she was debuting last night. It didn't get leaked out. In the era of information coming out like this, the fact that they were able to keep her debut a surprise is crazy, and that's awesome. And a lot of people are saying, well, why NXT? And the WWE insiders expected May to debut in NXT, not the main roster, and that's due to the recent call-ups from NXT. They just brought up Stephanie Vakir, Julia, and Roxanne Perez, so that depletes the women's NXT roster quite a bit because those are 3 of the biggest women players that were in NXT for a while there. So, they got to do a little bit of rebuilding on the roster. And Mariah May had long expressed her love for WWE on social media, dating back to before her in-ring debut in 2018. And she's wrestled under her real name her entire career. And there's additional notes here that don't really matter, but fuck it, we'll talk about them anyway. Fightful also noted that Abaddon and Bear Bronson's AEW contract expired around the same time. Unlike May, Abaddon's profile remains on the AEW site even after confirming her departure. So that's all of the stuff from the segment. It's cool that she's in WWE. She's going to be a huge star there, and their women's division is really stacked. What did you think of all this, TJ? Did this surprise you? Did you think she was going to be debuting on Tuesday, or I had no idea.
Well, not Tuesday, like you said. We all knew that was going to be the case, but I want to do like a little rewind here, and you'll have to bear with me on the exact specifics because I either don't know them or can't remember them. So we come back and, she debuted in AEW probably like a year and a half ago, like, I don't know, 18, 19 months. And, she started working with Toni almost right away. And Toni was kind of a heel then, but she was getting like big reactions, so they eventually turned into her face pretty quickly after that. Mariah May was her protege, started copying her, started coming out, like doing the different phases of Toni and all that. You remember she was doing, different gimmicks that Toni had done through the years.
With the little under the eye paint and everything.
Yeah, and I think she turned on her after like 8 months or something. Again, don't know the specific details, but she ended up beating her with the shoe after she won the Owen. And then she ended up winning the title from her. Was it all at All In 2024? Or I'm not sure, but either way,
she had won the title from her and had it for a while, and then Toni Storm started acting weird again, and then she went back.
Her run with the belt was very uninspiring. Toni didn't really seem to have any plans for her, and she just kind of had like a couple I can't remember the feuds. They weren't great, and I'm sure anybody, no matter how diehard of an AEW fan you are, could probably admit that. She's talented. It's no fault of her own. She did as best as she could. But the roster to some extent is limited, but, I don't know. It could have been better. I think you'd agree with that too, Dave. And it's always been her dream to do this, so regardless of if it was good or not, she would have probably left, even for less money, for WWE, because she has way more potential there to be a bigger star. And it should be nice seeing what she does there. They have a very impressive women's roster in NXT and WWE. It's the best women's wrestling has ever been in general at any point in time in the world right now. And all around, not just WWE and AEW as well. There's never been a secondary promotion that's had the women that had the talent that AEW does now too. So overall, a lot to be excited about if you're a fan of women's wrestling. And historically, I haven't ever been, but there's a lot of chicks that I'm kind of interested in now that I kind of have never really been that way before. So, that's a positive trend, and I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way. And it should be pretty cool to see the feuds that some of these girls that are coming in, like Julia, and Mariah May now, even though she's older than Julia, and the mark that they're going to make and where they'll be 8 years from now, and what their legacies will be in the industry. And I just thought it'd be cool to do the little rewind on her AEW career. But, well, yeah, we're not done. So she ended up losing the belt to Toni at a pay-per-view, and that was her last night. I think it was Revolution. And it was like the finale story between Toni and her. Like you said, Toni was acting weird, was acting like her old first gimmick when she popped up in AEW, and then fooled Mariah May when she ended up
But she was acting like she had amnesia or whatever.
Yeah, but then she was like, she got attacked by Mariah May after she won the number one contender sting, and then she went back to her black and white gimmick, Timeless, and then ended up beating her, and then that was the last time that she showed up. And
March of this year, I think.
Yeah, we even did a short on it, and we've talked about it a little bit before, but overall, good stuff, and it's a positive for WWE because they got another pretty talented female in the works for them.
We'll get to finally see Tiffany Stratton versus Mariah May.
Yep, two top blondes. Well, I don't know, Toni Storm. That would be the ultimate signing, I think, for WWE, but maybe one day. Maybe not. But
Tony needs to do everything that he can to keep her in that company.
Yeah, they're fucked if she leaves.
Also, I think that WWE would neuter part of what makes Toni Storm.
But it would still work for them over there with how they could. The theatrics that they could do that doesn't go on in AEW. Take us on.
Well, no, this it's your turn actually.
Is it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So we got Ric Flair versus the wrestling world again. So Ric Flair's stirred major backlash after a controversial tweet aimed at Jim Ross, referring to the AEW announcer and a cancer patient as an attention seeker. Flair later claimed that it was a joke, but not everyone found it funny. Yeah, he basically said, he typical JR, seeking attention like always, when he posted that he had a successful cancer surgery. And then afterwards, he's like, oh, if you can't take a joke from a 77-year-old man, I don't know what to tell you. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if you were drunk or fucked up or what you had going on, but pretty bad look on Rick there, and he's kind of a fucking idiot, and probably be best if you got stuff to say about somebody that has cancer and them just announcing that there's successful surgery. If you don't have anything nice to say, I suggest not saying it at all.
Keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Also, how much does this suck? That how much of a dick that he is? Like, I just like Hulk Hogan, I still have to put him on the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, but it's like, fuck, he's definitely not on the Mount Rushmore of people.
Come on, Dave, that's not true. So, how old was your grandfather when he died, or your grandmother?
Fuck, I don't know. I was back in the 80s when I was like 5.
I mean, but how old were they? As old as Rick is now? Were they 70s, 80s?
No.
So, did you see them deteriorate? Were they assholes? Were they acting in ways that they probably wouldn't have acted when they were younger? That's what my experience with my grandparents.
No, my grandparents were sweet.
Oh, see, like my grandmother got, my mom's mom got more crotchety the older she got. So
I mean, that's you get more crotchety as you get older. That's
I know,
just part of getting
but that's
older.
what I'm saying. So Rick's a human. Give him a little bit of slack. I'm not trying to give him an excuse. He's an asshole, but it might make sense because he's getting older. His faculties might be diminishing, and overall, he's just probably miserable. He's probably in a lot of pain from all the fucking shit he's done through the years. And come on, it's Rick. He's a fucking goof.
Yeah.
What do you expect? Is this something new?
No.
All right, then. So we will move on if you don't have anything to add to that. Oh, wait, no.
Well,
we do have more.
Yeah, there's some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my apologies. So we got Dutch Mantell here responding to it on a recent episode of Storytime with Dutch Mantell. He held nothing back. He said, "Shut up, Rick. You're a dick."
Yeah, he got in on him.
Yeah, there was more than that, but you kind of get it. And Dutch is a funny guy. He's cool. And Flair fired back with a mix of sympathy and shade. Dutch, everyone is always going to think of you as a veteran that's not allowed to have an opinion, but I sympathize with your health issues. The anger that you pour out at everybody is clearly coming from the pain you feel. Please stay strong. Then Flair's tone shifted drastically in a follow-up tweet. I try to be nice to everybody. I've got more money than I've got time. F yourself, haters. No comment needed. Live with it. Actually, learn to love it. Get back to me again when you make $3 million a year at age 76. That's what famous gets. And by the way, I don't recognize anyone in this conversation who is famous. What a fucking asshole.
Complete fucking dickhead.
Yeah. And then we ask here, like, was Flair out of line calling JR an attention seeker? Well, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Did Dutch Mantell cross the line calling Ric Flair dick? No.
Nope.
Flair's response shifted from an empathetic to aggressive, calculated, or emotional. Asshole. Should Flair stay off Twitter? Or is this just a Ric Flair experience with 2025? I don't know. Probably doesn't need a phone. Go fuck yourself.
Nope. Yep. His grandkids need to come in and say, "Hey, you know, Grandpa, you need to get off that phone, probably."
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Yeah, not the smartest guy. And when I'm 70, I probably won't need to be on Twitter myself.
Right. Yeah, also, I like to think if you're 76 years old that you're not going to be going at somebody that just came out of a cancer surgery either, like a real piece of shit.
I think you'd probably be right there. So, and
be better, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I agree with you. But that being said, I think that's probably the last thing we have to talk about.
Yep. We're going to have a lot to talk about this weekend, though. Since we did the Dynamite and Collision episode tonight, that frees us up to talk about SmackDown and Money in the Bank next week. Maybe even Worlds Collide. I'm seeing if TJ's going to watch. I'm going to watch it. I don't. Maybe we'll cover it. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. Who knows? What do you think?
I don't know. We'll see. We might. Like, what have you been doing with your time besides watching wrestling and the podcast, Dave?
Hanging out in Discord with you.
And Brandon. You're in there with him.
Brandon, Carter, fucking. I've been looking at some music shit. There are a couple of guitar things that have been interesting me lately. Looking at desks. How about you?
So I got this Minecraft server, that me and my friend been messing around on. Still gonna playing Oblivion. I got my Animal Crossing I play every day. You hear that siren in the background?
A little bit, yeah.
That's probably us. Our cue to wrap it up, or maybe we'll let it go for a second. But just playing my games, working, coming home, just hanging out with my wife, the dogs, and just we're busy. Try to get my gaming in and all that, but overall, you know what I'm doing. Just spending time with my friends and family and all my gaming shit. Just wanted to.
By the way,
yeah,
you guys can't see because we're not doing camera stuff yet, but TJ's got his new podcasting room all set up. It's got a lot of cool things. He's got the Japanese Pikachu Nintendo 64 hanging out behind him, shit like that. He's got an autographed WWF winged title, autographed by Bret Hart. There's a lot of cool shit going on in his room.
Yeah, I collect my video game stuff. Oh, the siren stopped. I got the gold N64. And we'll be on camera one day so that people will be able to see it. But yeah. Overall, life's been pretty good, and it's been fun doing the podcast with you. And, we're just, the older you get, the faster time flies by, and you're just trying to make that paycheck, and you try to find things to occupy your time, because in the end, you don't have a lot of it, so you got to make the best and the most out of what you can.
Yeah. It's nice to do something that we enjoy that we don't have to do.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So I guess that being said, we will have the reviews for all the wrestling that's going to be happening over the weekend, like you were saying, and we got our social medias that everybody needs to check out, and we can go ahead and get out of here if you want to sign us off.
All right, everybody, have a good rest of the night, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.